I mean, at the very least, you should never leave a device with its default password. It's just opening an invite to somebody to come into the network.
But doesn't the manufacturer have some fault at that for giving that option?
No. The manufacturer is selling a product and they provide a means to that product to log into it. If you're unable, if you haven't taken the steps initially to change the password, then that's on you. And that is why people need
How
to
many
be,
home routers are out there with the default password? More than 50% of them out there.
you would know more than I would on the home phase, on the residential side of things, but yeah, I would pretty much bet, I would bet you're right. 50%, I would say most people pull it out of the box that they get from the local retail, wherever they live in the country, put it on, and just let it run on the network. Sometimes you won't even see them change the SSID. It comes with the default manufacturer's SSID, usually unsecured. And again, this is a problem that comes down to the end user.
Now, okay, it might be cool in your house. You know, you're sitting in your underwear watching TV, nothing that exciting. But if you're having a boardroom meeting talking about an acquisition and that's wide open, I mean, that's got to be pretty dangerous.
Sure, especially the work from home, work from anywhere environment, right? What all transpired in the last couple of years during the pandemic? People were allowed to work from home. As a result of that, IT for the companies, the corporations that they were working for, scrambled for solutions. Besides the traditional VPN access to the company's files and system, they had to really scramble to get things tidied up quickly. Because again, there is sensitive information that should never be allowed for anybody else's ears other than within that company and that network.
Do you believe that the onset of the pandemic, there was a lot of holes as people went remote? There was a lot of security issues.
Oh, yes, 100%. Yeah, I probably say that a little bit too much, but you're hitting so many valid points that are direct examples that I've experienced.
It's almost like we're in this industry together.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I've dealt with schools that did not lock down their network and tried putting, crummy IP cameras on their network to stream lessons out to. We've dealt with House of Worship where they had vulnerabilities due to some edge devices like encoders and decoders for sending video over the internet. They were susceptible to malware because the firmware wasn't updated. Things like that. Really simple stuff that you would say, that's just common knowledge for a guy to maintain their own system and network.
Did religion and mass have any effect on the AV industry and pushing it along? I heard something about that where religion and mass has had an effect on the growth of AV.
Yeah, significant.
Really?
The two
really
biggest,
religious masses.
well,
really.
the two biggest. We just generalize it in House of Worship, and that could apply to any religious service. But how are they going to get their message out to the masses, right?
Yes.
They tried doing them in to parking lot. They would actually have sermons or whatever services they had in a parking lot. So granted, you were able to show up to the actual building. Well, eventually you weren't even able to go to a building and you were locked down. So you had to do it from home. And how were they going to do it? You had to stream, and then you had to figure out how to stream. And then again, what coupled that as another side effect was equipment shortages. I mean, I couldn't tell you. I think within the first few months of the pandemic, Logitech was sold out within a few months.
I didn't think about that. Oh my gosh. So all of a sudden pandemic hits and there's a supply chain shortage with all this stuff.
It was inevitable. Everybody needed a camera. And if you look at it, the success and productivity that people have had working from home is a testament to the capabilities of working from anywhere, really. I mean, you work from your hotel room if you're traveling. You work from home. We were able to deliver and produce at the same level. And we were still profitable during the pandemic, too. A lot of companies folded. A lot of them were never to be seen again. I feel very fortunate that we were involved intimately in education. How are we going to get those lessons plans to the students that no longer are allowed to go into the building? How are we going to get that sermon out to the masses who normally would show up for church on Sunday?
So the fact that you've had a whole ecosystem, service, product, it gave you that sustainability and growth after. Right?
Yes, these verticals drove the streaming requirement, and we had to get our learn on quickly. And that was something that we did, and we did well.
Well, why has Zoom become such a strong standard?
I'm a big fan of Zoom. I've been using Zoom since 2016. 16.
Okay.
Well before the pandemic, well before. If you look at their market share, they definitely take, I would say, in excess of 70% of the market share.
Wow, 70%. Jeez.
Yeah. Even though Microsoft Teams makes a big, a hubbub
So it's
about
Zoom or Teams at this point, right?
It's really Zoom, Teams, Blue Jeans. I see 8x8. I see a
Okay,
couple of companies
okay.
coming that still have a small segment of the market share, but the premier and dominant holder is Zoom,
Right.
and their growth and just look at their stock. Their stock alone was a testament to the growth of their platform.
Good point.
But they're constantly coming up with updates because they themselves, as the largest platform for video teleconferencing,
Yes.
has been vulnerable, and they have had problems.
Really? Okay.
I equate them to almost like Microsoft. I mean, how many problems have you had with any Microsoft operating system that wasn't patched properly or updated?